Hola, ¿qué tal? Siempre es un gusto saludarlos desde el Euphoria Lounge en Univision, Houston, Texas, para hablar de la hermana pobre y la hermana fea del cine de Hollywood, el cine independiente. Y nuevamente vamos a hablar de lo que es un formato diferente en el cine, que es el documental. Así que me acompaña vía Skype Ben Desoto, quien no solamente está realizando un documental, sino que también una exhibición llamada Understanding Poverty. Ben, it's very nice to meet you right here on television. How are you?
Blessed. Thank you so much for having a chance to talk to me.
I know. Well, I was telling the audience that you have this project, which is a documentary, but also a picture exhibition. Tell me about this.
Well, right now the news is next week the University of Houston Library Collections are going to start displaying uh, surveys of materials, some 1,000 rolls of film over a 25 years period from the late 70s when I started my career up through my work through 2016. And most of that's on film. It's all in documentary. It's now archived at the University of Houston Library System. And they're going to exhibit January 15th through the end of May.
Okay, but they're going to exhibit only the pictures or also the documentary, the film?
They're going to have a screen showing the screenings and excerpts from the video. They have several bookcases, and I have 3 large bodies of work. The homeless is spanning some 30 years, almost 30 years, is only a part of my work. Someone described my photography work for the Houston Chronicles as a series of overshoots. I always went beyond what they asked of me. So there's an extensive body of photographs dealing with the punk rock music scene, the underground local music scene. There's also a lot of material dealing with the local artist scenes, artist portraits and materials there. And I had exhibited off and on throughout my life in Houston. I just recently moved away because of health reasons to live closer to my children.
Mm-hmm.
So the material represents 3 large bodies of work, and within that material are a lot of smaller stories and details. So they're going to be displaying all that material, showing some video excerpts as well.
Perfect. Now, homelessness is a problem that we not only have it in Houston, but in another big cities like San Francisco, New York, Miami. What moved you to work on this specific topic, homelessness?
I started my career as an intern in the summer of 1980, the Reagan years. Mm-hmm. And so by 1988, there were so many homeless we hadn't seen on the streets since the Great Depression. Mm-hmm. My family, who started during the Depression, my parents were a bit older. And so I had some firsthand knowledge of the Depression. And I was motivated after my father's death in '87 to really challenge and get to the profound underlying causes and reasons for chronic homelessness. That year, in 1988, I ended up making friendships with 2 homeless people, mm-hmm. and maintaining that friendship over these decades. And that is at the core of the Quiet Storms of Reform. The Understanding Poverty Project is an accumulation, a gathering of all my material going all the way back to 1980 when I photographed Mrs. Ramirez across the street from me in Pasadena, Texas. The part of the changes that happened with the HUD, Housing and Urban Development, made some changes in how they were spending money. And during the 1980s, if many people care to remember, there was a lot of graft and corruption that happened under the Housing Authority, under Reagan.
Yeah, and very, very shortly, can you tell me what's the message you want to give with this documentary?
With the documentary is that we can solve the wicked problem of homelessness. Again, I draw from a lot of Christian. I almost went into to the ministry as a young man, but I kept to my roots, the spirit of Christianity. I converted to Buddhism in my early 20s, but I found the spiritual truths in both places, and the need to find all life as precious and valuable. And that is the core, that we have the solutions. We just lack the political will and the community leadership to solve these problems. and this population of homeless over the last 30 years have been the most studied population, and we have a real understanding. I direct people always to Annie Casey, two-generational approach, to look at the resource, the Housing First movement and principles. And I also recommend people get an education on adverse childhood experience scores, ACE scores. That
Awesome.
the odds of people ending up the street as accumulation or the end result of a health crisis and excessive trauma load without support, and the odds are you end up in the street with all the addictions and other traumas that are associated with living on the streets.
Ben, it was really nice talking to you. Así que amigos, si el arte es un espejo de la realidad, sin lugar a dudas, este formato de cine, el documental, es pues su máxima exponencia. Así que hasta aquí llegamos con esta edición de Película. Nos vemos en una próxima ocasión.